Saki from Knight Frank. You are tuning in to propertyinsight.com.my. My first property was my first home. It was never purchased for investment, but it was purchased for me to live in. How did I choose the property? First, I chose the location that I wanted. I wanted Bangsa, but I couldn't afford it. So I had to look where else next I would rather live. I chose Section 14 PJ, thanks to my wife, who showed me the way to Section 14 PJ, and from there I bought my first single-story terrace house where I lived for nearly 8-9 years before I moved on from there. So when you're buying your first property, it's not about investment, it's the first property, it's about your home. Now, let's talk about investment property. Now that you've got your first property and you're living in your first property, and suddenly you have some money and you want to buy your next property, which is your investment. What do? Most important, you have to decide, are you going to buy a property to be constructed from a developer, or are you going to buy an existing property? If you're going to buy an existing property, you can log into various websites and you can check what is available. And when you buy existing property for investment, it's very important for you to look at two criteria. What's the kind of returns you're going to get? What is the potentials for capital appreciation in that particular area? And when you look at rental income, you got to look at the kind of trend. Is the market actually moving up? Is the rents going to poised to go up? Is the rents poised to come down? Then you also got to look at the type of tenant. Is he a good tenant? Is he a reputable tenant that is prevailing in that particular place? And also, very importantly, is it tenanted to start off with? If it's not tenanted, how many units are there in that location? Is there so many? Is there a glut of units that you probably can't find a tenant for a long time? So these are the things that you really got to look at, because this rental income is very important, because that will help you offset against the amount of loan that you take and the repayments that you have to make. Now, that's for existing property, but at the same time also potentiality for capital appreciation. You may want to flip. Don't ever fall in love with your investment property. There's a time to sell and there's a time to buy. Do not fall in love, because everything has a life cycle. Very important to know that. So when is the time to sell? You got to look at the timing. The market is the right timing. You got to look at is there any potential threats to the value of the property? Maybe a development going to come up nearby that may affect its value or may enhance its value. So these are the things you need to look at when you decide what is the time to sell. Now, next, you want to buy from a developer. You think, oh, I can't be fast about looking at existing property. I want to buy a brand new property. Okay. Most important when you buy from a developer is for you to first make an assessment of the developer, not of the property, but of the developer. Is he a reputable developer? Does he know his expertise? Has he done this kind of work before? Where else has he developed? What do other followers of that particular developer say? Does he overprice and sell? Does he allow enough margin for you for capital appreciation? Some developers, they price their product really at peak, where there's no margin for you in the event that you want to sell off after the building is completed. So you got to look whether this particular developer gives you some room, whether he makes allowances for you to make money, not for only him to make money. And you got to look at his reputation. Has he has a track record of successes or failures? And this is crucial. If you buy from a developer and you're going to keep the property for a long term, and you're not a speculator, you are an investor, so you got to look at the location of the property. Location, location, location. The mantra never changes. Yeah. So you got to understand the location. Is there demand in that location? What is the catchment in that location? Is that location an up and coming location? Is there really good demand for the type of property in that particular location? Your next investment is most likely to be a residential unit of some sort. Because most people, once they're comfortable with the first home, they look at the second. It's normally residential. So is that location, is there a business sense, is there economic activity in that area that warrants for many people to locate themselves in that location? That's also very key. Maybe there's a university nearby, you know for sure there's a student, maybe there is a large facility nearby that many people work in. So these are the things that you need to look at. But maybe your third property could be a retail property, could be a shop house, could be a shop unit. For those sort of properties, I think it's very important for you to look at tenancy demand in terms of commercial tenants, and they're slightly different from a residential tenant. But a commercial tenant in terms of can businesses prosper in that location? Because if your tenant prospers, you prosper. Then only you get your rent. If your tenant doesn't make money, you don't make money. I think we've got to know that. Yeah? So those are the key things I think you need to consider when you make your investment. Thank you. This is Saki signing off for Property Insight.